And let me ask you this then.
Okay.
But what Jesse is saying makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Let me give you an example. Germany taxes or adds a 10% tariff to our cars. We add a 2.5% tariff to their BMWs, their Mercedes, and everything else. Don't you think tariffs should be reciprocal?
I don't think that they should necessarily be identical.
Why
in terms
not?
of reciprocity.
Why not?
I don't think that's the way the economies work. I think that keeping the Chinese tariffs was obviously a good idea. Biden even did that. But you guys know, and you're ignoring what's going on, that these tariffs are bad for Americans. A majority know that it will raise costs. That's the reason they had to walk them back. And don't talk to me about India and the Indians being on Harley Davidsons. Talk to me about the automakers.
Move on to Dana because
just
we
one
have no
second
time.
here.
Everything is falling apart for Donald Trump, so much so that not even the folks at the Fox propaganda outlet can try to hold him up. There is too much disaster in the economy. There are too many scandals coming out of his White House. Elon Musk has caused too many problems for them to defend all of his indefensible actions, and so they are now just calling him out, which is crazy. Anytime that the truth actually comes out of Fox, and we are going to get into all of it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, it goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we get into what one specific MAGA Fox host had to say about the failures of the Trump administration, I want to hear what our favorite Fox host said in calling them out.
They're whipping no on this vote.
Yeah, it's not just whipping. They're going to be a no on this bill. There's no reason for Democrats to support a continuing resolution that they, first of all, weren't consulted on at all. No one came to say, hey, what do you think about these things? And then they would have heard, hey, we are not okay with cutting nutritional assistance. We're not okay with cutting veterans benefits, Social Security benefits, Alzheimer's research. So there's no reason that Democrats should bail out the Republicans. We've been hearing since the election that this is the largest mandate in American history. So prove it. And Guy may very well be right that Speaker Johnson can get this over the hurdle, and then they have a whole year to figure out how to govern, how to get their spending bill through that's going to cut, what, $880 billion from Medicaid. So time will tell on that, but we're not here to bail them out.
I hope Jessica is totally successful. I hope she's completely successful.
Thanks, Ben.
And I hope that this goes the way that you want, because I can't wait to see what DOJ will do when the government is shut down. If the government shuts down, the amount of things that you can do that where the traps just open up, where they can just cut even further than they already are, you'll find out, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How many people are enough for you to get fired? What's your goal? How many tens of thousands do you want just fired?
Can we start with half? is that a reasonable number? No, look, I think that you are making a monumentally stupid decision in terms of whipping in this direction, and I think that Chuck Schumer is, quite correctly trying to prevent Hakeem Jeffries from making a huge mistake that would only benefit those of us who think that the government is just full of pork to be cut, and that bureaucrats absolutely should be sent packing.
Let me ask you this then.
Okay.
But what Jesse is saying makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Let me give you an example. Germany taxes or adds a 10% tariff to our cars. We add a 2.5% tariff to their BMWs, their Mercedes, and everything else. Don't you think tariffs should be reciprocal?
I don't think that they should necessarily be identical.
Why
in terms
not?
of reciprocity.
Why not?
I don't think that's the way the economies work. I think that keeping the Chinese tariffs was obviously a good idea. Biden even did that. But you guys know, and you're ignoring what's going on, that these tariffs are bad for Americans. A majority know that it will raise costs. That's the reason they had to walk them back. And don't talk to me about India and the Indians being on Harley Davidsons. Talk to me about the automakers.
Move on to Dana because
just
we have no
one second
time.
here. 82% of Americans want Trump to be focused on the economy. Only 36% says that he's actually doing that. They know the tariffs are a loser. Howard Lutnick is trying to backtrack. Scott Bessent trying to backtrack on it.
Well,
it will bankrupt people.
You know what, Dana?
Both on the budget bills, in the disastrous way that Donald Trump has destroyed this economy, Jessica Tarlov is spotting. And as I continue to bring up again and again and again and again on this show, I think it's important that we not just make the case that Donald Trump has broken his promises, that he has failed to live up to anything he said on the campaign trail, but is actively doing it. He is actively betraying you. He is going out of his way to screw you with his tariffs, with the $800 billion that he wants to cut from Medicaid. Donald Trump does not care about you. These are not mistakes. This is intentional. And it is so bad, like I said, that even Fox is now calling him out, in which we see 2 clips of Peter doing so. And I want to take a look right here.
And we also expect the White House to try to reassure folks who are sitting there looking at their 401ks going down and down and down. This is a White House that came in trying to get federal workers to retire by the hundreds of thousands, but it's tough to make the argument that you should retire if your retirement accounts are getting throttled, which is what is happening right now. So we hope for answers to all of these curiosities any minute. John?
Thank you, Caroline. So you said that the Dow dropping and dropping and dropping is a period of transition. You're sure nobody here at the White House shorted the Dow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Now I never would, and I never will, give Peter Doocy credit. But I do appreciate a little bit of a call out. I don't know why it had to take the economy crumbling for you to do. So I don't know why you couldn't have done this a long time ago. Maybe it's because you have no principles, you don't care about the truth, but Dewey is spotting. Donald Trump made these promises. Donald Trump has broken these promises right away. It took like 7 weeks for them to completely screw everything up. And something that I'm hearing so much out of the White House is, well, we're ushering in a new age. We're transitioning into a new age. And apparently, the only transitioning allowed under the Trump administration is now a good economy to a garbage economy. But at what point does this become the Trump economy? That's the thing that they won't tell us. The Biden economy, the day that Donald Trump was sworn in, if that's what it was booming still. It was great. We're having success, markets were high. When does it become the Trump economy? I remember vividly back in November, Donald Trump said he wanted his administration to start before he was even sworn in because he thought he was doing such a great job even before he became president, and now he's decided he doesn't want any of the responsibility for his failures. What checks out makes sense to me, and the failures are going to continue to come, whether Republicans pass their budget bill or not, as Elizabeth Warren pointed out right here.
I think it's pretty clear what Elon's play is here. He wasn't very subtle when he tweeted CFPB RIP. The next thing you know, his Doge team then locks the CFPB staff out of their own building. That was Act 1. Now he wants Act 2. He wants Congress to block this CFPB rule. So what will Elon get out of it if the rule is blocked? Well, he will get a clear runway for his payment app without having to worry about whether there's a cop on the financial beat who would catch him if he rips off customers who use his new app. But this is really a 3-part play, not just a 2-part play. Act 1 was closing down the CFPB so that the financial cops were shut out at least for a while. Act 2 is the part we see now, with Elon rolling back a rule that, when the cops are back on the beat, a financial cop could use that rule to go after Elon if he breaks the law. Act 3 comes next week when Republicans try to move forward with legislation that will clear the decks for Elon to issue X money as his own stable coin, without any guardrails to protect consumers, to protect national security, or to protect the financial stability of our economy. Put simply, Republicans are setting the stage for the richest man in the world to issue his own currency that competes with the US dollar. Act 1 protected all the scammers. Act 2 protects the Cash App scammers in particular. And Act 3, as currently drafted, will roll out the red carpet for Elon and Jeff and Mark and maybe a few other big tech billionaires to seize control of our money and payments, which underpins the entire economy.
We must hold their feet to the fire. We must continue to call them out. We must continue to make incredibly clear that MAGA can either not govern and we show down the government, or their governing is for the billionaires. And by the billionaires, those are your two options. Or you can elect Democrats. I think that sounds a bit better. We're going to be talking about that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You leave a like on this video, and if you're stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.